Hello and welcome back to Marion's Money Talk podcast. First and foremost, a big congratulations to our winner of the first season of Novi virtual stock trading competition, Syed Luqman Darwish. Luqman is currently pursuing his studies at the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales at Novi College. My co-host Andrew had the opportunity to speak with Luqman about his experience being a participant in the Novi competition and his sharing about his stock trading journey.
Thanks, Syed, for coming to our podcast. We really appreciate that. And, congratulations again for being the grand prize winner for season 1 of Novi. So just wanting to ask you a couple of questions, getting your thoughts. But before that, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what's your profession, and some of the things or hobbies that you like to do in your free time?
Okay, sure. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much to Andrew, Evelyn, and team Marion for inviting me to this very wonderful podcast. It's actually my first time doing a podcast. I've never thought about having a podcast before, but it's a wonderful experience to share some investment thoughts with everyone who's gonna listen to this podcast. So to start things off, about myself, my name is Syed Luqman Darwish. People usually call me Luqman, but anything as well is fine as long as my name.
I can call you Luqman.
Yeah, it's easy, I guess.
Yeah.
So I live in Petaling Jaya, Selangor, and currently I'm 20 years old. I'm a student. I'm still a student, studying ICAEW. It's a professional accounting course in Novi College. And during my free time, I usually like to play sports. Like I play tennis and I also play chess. So that's like my leisure time hobbies. Yeah.
Oh, great! You play chess. I mean, this is just a side note. I also like to play chess. I used to play chess frequently when I was back in the younger days. So it's great to know that you play chess too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like
yeah,
it's like something fun, like just wanna make your brain like kind of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Throughout the day. So like at least you're not like sleeping.
That's right. I totally agree. Yeah, it's just a good activity just to keep your brain occupied. So yeah, great stuff, Luqman. So thank you for your introduction. That's really great. So one of the popular questions that we often ask our guests is about their first time investing, and from our observation, everyone seems to have a different story and experience, which is great. Because this really shows that investing can and should be accessible to everyone and not just necessarily for those with deep pockets. So Luqman, can you share with us about how did you discover stock investing? What was it like, your first experience with stock investing?
All right. That's a very good question. It's a very typical question for people to ask someone who invests, in stocks or crypto or others. So my story, I'm not sure if everyone has go through what I've been, but to make it like brief, basically I knew about this stock investing in my college itself because I joined this one club because we have club and societies. So the name of the club is Sunway Business Investment Society Club. So as the name suggests, they will organize like a lot of talks. They will invite outsiders to give some thoughts about investment and so on. It ranges from stocks, in property investments, cryptos, and so on. So they cover like almost everything in the market.
Wow.
That's very cool. And I started know about stock when since September 2020, if I'm not mistaken. at that time they organized like a talk. They invited Investing Note. They invited Investing Note, and they give some talk about the basics about stock investing, like the fundamentals, and the technical stuff, like the chart and so on. And the talk is just few hours talk, not like few days. So basically, like I just want to know what is investing all about, because I heard about investing a lot of times in my life, like bursa, like when you watch the TV and you see like, oh, the top stocks of the day. Like I was like, what is this? I'm very curious to know. So when I hear the talk, the ideas, of course, as a first timer, you won't understand everything. But as someone who has an accounting background, I managed to understand like the fundamentals of it, because it really relates to accounting, right? Like the financial position and so on. So I knew about stock investing from there, and then I also discovered that my dad also is an investor. So basically that's a good start for me, because I have like input from my dad as well. So he will give some ideas, like as someone who has been in the market for quite number of years, so he knew more than what I knew. So he also gave a lot of information about the market, like how do trade works, how people buy and sell in the trading platform and so on. I started my real trade in April 2021. It's either April or March. So the gap is like October, November, like 6 months for me to like start have knowledge about the stock market. And then I started to trade, open my brokerage account in April and so on, and then I start my first trade. And like some beginners, they will have that beginner luck, like a lot of people always say you have that beginner luck where you start the trade and you get some profits through like 2 or first 3 trades. So I didn't experience that, but instead I started with a loss, and then subsequently a loss, and a profit a bit, and then a loss a bit. And until this one time, I lost like 70% of my capital. That's that's huge. But of course, people will say that, oh, you're still lucky because you lose 70%, but I because I lose 100%, because that's beginners stuff that you will experience throughout your journey. And for me, I don't take that loss of 70% of my capital as something that is very frustrating, or like just want to feel like give up. But I think that's just the start, that I need to build up my mental strength and be resilient, because a lot of traders will fail in their first or second year because they get frustrated when they lose like 70% of their money, 100% of their money, or more than that. So I think the best the positive side that I take from losing my capital is learn from my mistakes and try not to do that again.
As most of our listeners may have known, right? We run a virtual stock trading competition called Novi, where everyone and anyone can gain practical stock investing experience without the need for real money, and at the same time, have fun competing with others in a seasonal format. So our first season concluded recently, and congratulations again to you, Luqman, for winning the grand prize. So I guess my question is, what attracted you to Novi, and why did you choose to enter the virtual stock trading competition?
Okay, a great one actually. Actually I never knew about Novi before. But recently I knew about Novi because there's one competition that was organized by University of Malaya. University of Malaya. what's the name of it? MFAC, if I'm
In
not
fact, yes,
mistaken.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they collab with Marion and used
Mm,
the website as the trading platform. So that's where I started to know about the trade Novi,
mm,
and I heard I joined the Discord group as well, and I've seen some posts from Marion,
mm,
like you guys will have like a virtual stock trading competition, and
yeah.
I take that as an opportunity, to
Mm,
um improve my trade, although not uh like not really, but using the virtual money and try to learn as much as I can using the virtual money,
yeah.
not risking anything of my own
Mm,
money. Yeah.
yeah.
And also because I'm still new to the market, to stock market. Not particularly new, but as an investor, like 1 to 2 years of investing is quite a short period of time, and that's when you are still in the process of learning, building up your
Mm,
knowledge, and trying to find the best trading plan that you can make in a trade. So basically, I will take this virtual stock
mm,
competition as a platform for me to try trial and error for
mm.
my trading strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. That's great. I mean, glad that found Novi useful. So that's something that when we build Novi, we have in mind, to allow people to actually get that experience without the need to actually risk their life savings or their money into it. So yep, great to hear that. Last but not least, the question before we conclude the podcast, do you have any quick tips or on investing that you would like to share with early or first time investors?
Yeah. Okay. I think this is a very important question, and something that I think we should share with everyone who's gonna start investing, sooner or later. And this will be like some checklist that you need to have when you start investing. So first and foremost, I just want to emphasize knowledge is very important. Knowledge
Yeah.
comes first before you start investing. Try to gain as much knowledge as possible. Like nowadays, knowledge is everywhere. Just at your fingertips. You can just search it on YouTube, on
Mm,
Google. You can read it. Or if you are some, type of uh people who likes to read some books or so on, you can just go to the bookstore and
mm,
buy some books, investing books that you really like how it expresses the points and so on. And when you started your trade, for me, start small first.
mm,
Like a lot of seafood in the market, they
mm,
would say you start with a minimum of like 1,000 ringgit. If you can't afford to have that, probably like 500 ringgit and so on.
mm,
But it really depends on because everyone has different wealth. Some people are very rich, some people
mm,
are not really rich.
mm,
So I would suggest you start with the amount that you can afford to lose. That means if you put 1,000 ringgit right now, you have to put this in your mind that okay, in any event, I'm willing to lose my 1,000 ringgit
mm.
absolutely 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So something that you can afford to lose, just start with that amount, and
Mm,
don't try to start with 10,000 ringgit, 100,000 ringgit. If you cannot afford to lose those money,
mm,
because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you gain, but it's at your percentage return
mm,
on your portfolio that makes
mm,
the difference between are you a good investor or are you a bad investor. So
mm,
probably initially you have to start to learn from your mistakes.
mm,
Either it's a stupid mistake or you know or anything or other mistakes, but you have to learn from your mistakes, because from there you make your mistake and you learn from there, and at the same time you don't lose a lot of money. You
Mm.
lose a really small amount of money, and as you progress further, probably 2 years or 3 years in the future, you can probably add a little bit amount of your capital. If you start feeling comfortable that you can you manage to find something that can make your return better, so you can start adding a capital there. And when you are trading, investing in the market, please remember, it's personal preference, but for me, I always tell myself, don't leverage, because
Yes.
that's a very very dangerous thing to do. Because if you leverage, um of course you will think that, oh, if I leverage 10 times of my capital, then I can get 10 times of the return. But you have to remember that you also would have a high chance of making 10 times the losses that you will you experience later. So that's a very some good tips lah. That's something that I learned from my dad as well.
Yeah, I think
It's very, because there's a lot of people nowadays, they always think that, oh, I want to get quick money. That's not stock investing. If you want to make quick money, I don't think this is the platform that you will have to pursue, because it's a snowball effect, a compounding effect. Even if Warren Buffett, very the greatest investors of all time, if you look at his returns over the years, when he was young, it's a very low return. If you plot the graph, you will see that it's an exponential graph. When he's older and older, his money compounds like like very quickly, like like a very high return. So for me, the thing is your patience and your emotions. Be disciplined, manage your risk, have a trading plan. When you have to cut loss, you have to cut your losses. Cut your losses small, but make your gains big as possible. It's not about how many times you win, but it's about how many times you win big. Because like me myself, through this virtual stock trading competition with Novi, I didn't make a lot of gain as well. If I try to recall back, probably my win loss rate is like 50-50 or 40-60, but then it's all about, because my losses are small and the gain that I get from my wins, my trade wins, is larger than my losses. So that's what makes my portfolio manage to achieve a good return, a decent amount of return.
I would say more than decent. it's pretty good. Yeah. So congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. And lastly, just remember, there's no one holy grail method that can fit into everyone. You can learn from a lot of people, a lot of trading strategies, but then it depends on yourself. You have to understand yourself first, your risk tolerance, what's your time, the duration of, like, what's your target. Probably in the next 5 years, okay, I want to make 20% on my return, or 10 years you want to make like 30% on your return. So based on that, that which method that can help you based on your time frame of your investing.
I mean, excellent. I would say excellent tips, Luqman. That's really great. Something that's very useful for early and first-time investors. So, do take note, listeners. I think those are really good tips that that one should know before one starts investing. Thank you, Luqman, for your time. This really great sharing.
Thanks for taking time out to share with us your experience and insights, Luqman. I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for our listeners.